Shots fired. There's two witnesses downtown.
I was like, yeah, what the dude? Yeah, he jumped me right here.
He gives us everything about the suspect except the name.
The guy that y'all think did the shooting, he is not the shooter.
Here's someone saying you don't have the right person.
Ultimately, this case was going to be a question of who the jury believed. I hoped that they would be able to see past his convictions and focus on his testimony.
My client was saying he didn't do this. He was vehement about it.
For those most affected by a homicide, the first 48 is just the beginning.
You take a lot of lives with one bullet.
And it just caused so much pain.
This is the story of the fight for justice in the weeks, months, and years.
911 police, fire, medical.
Yes, there's shots fired at me out here.
Were you shot?
No, I was getting shot at.
Did you see the suspect?
He's dark-skinned. He had on a black hoodie.
Okay, is he still in the complex?
Yes.
When police arrive, the shooter is gone, and they find two men shot. Both are rushed to the hospital and into surgery. One of them dies.
Hey. When I arrived at the crime scene, I was thinking it was a priority to get on it quick. We had someone brazen enough to open fire in a heavily populated apartment complex and just shoot at multiple people. That could be a continuing threat.
Okay, here's the scoop. Shots fired. One guy, Shaman, he dies.
41-year-old Shimon Jones was born and raised in Tulsa. He worked as a cook at a local nursing home and is survived by two children.
All of it happens outside.
Shimon was found in the courtyard, shot in his back, leg, and right arm.
And the other guy's at the hospital. I think they're on the right side.
The surviving victim is a 32-year-old man. He was shot once in the chest and is in stable condition.
Where did it happen at?
Out here in front of the playground.
Looking at the courtyard, there's multiple shell casings on the ground, and I'm thinking, gosh, luckily we don't have more hit.
The team finds 13 9mm casings.
The casings were in a consistent pattern, so that gave me a belief that it was probably one shooter.
Oh, there's two witnesses downtown.
Okay.
I have a good feeling that we've got witnesses. Now it's just a matter of sifting through it, collecting the evidence, and getting the story.
Back at Homicide, Corporal Schilling and Detective Jason White interview the 911 caller, Archie.
70% of people are killed by somebody that they know. The 911 caller is a victim himself. We hope that he knew who the suspect was and was going to be able to tell us.
Dude, my cousin died.
Is it Shaman?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm very sorry.
To tell somebody that their loved one has died, it hurts. I mean, we hurt with them.
And that's a tough spot to be in because you tell them something that's so emotionally devastating, but yet you're wanting to get a statement from somebody.
What can you tell me?
Last night, me and my girl, we got into a little small disagreement. She took it outside, trying to go over that.
He says his girlfriend left and went to a downstairs neighbor's apartment.
And, tried to get in there. We was kind of still arguing or whatever. Tried to give her a hug.
He says the man in the apartment confronted him.
They was mad at her. Like, okay, get out the house. So I got out the house. And then that's when he called his little stepson.
He says the neighbor was joined by his stepson and two other men.
All four of them started, beating me up. Had a pistol, hit me with the pistol. and started kicking on my body and all that, on my head.
He ended up getting jumped by the group of guys from the apartment that his girlfriend went to.
Archie says one of the stepson's friends had the pistol.
Yeah, he's the main one. I was like, don't kill me. I took out running.
When you start hearing what happened with Archie the night before, that helps us walk forward and get a picture of who's doing what their motives are, and the connection of these individuals. Because running into a guy that just shoots them doesn't really make sense as a standalone incident.
Okay. So what happens today?
Today, we all got our car.
Archie says earlier today, he decided to go to the complex to confront the men that attacked him.
They was with me just to, protect me if anything happened or anything like that.
He says he met up with Shimon, the surviving victim, and the other witness.
About 5 minutes or so. The dude, he come around the corner.
He says they ran into his neighbor's stepson and the stepson's friend who had pistol whipped him.
I was like, yeah, dude, yeah, he jumped me right here. Brothers, I was like, yeah, we can catch you one-on-one. And I was like, oh, well, okay.
To think you're going to get a fair fight in that situation when you didn't have a fair fight the night before doesn't ring true to me.
I'm kind of going up there. And then that's when he put out the gun. And so, pow, 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 pow.
He thought he had enough crew there to get his revenge from the night before, but a gun can quickly equalize being outnumbered.
He busting at me. I was running. And then he busted at them too.
How do you not get shot but both of them get hit?
I don't know. That's God.
He's obviously in an emotional state. There may be some underlying guilt about getting them involved in this. Had I not gotten my friends, had I not wanted to continue here, we wouldn't be in this position.
Which one is the one that shot?
He says the man that was with his neighbor's stepson is the shooter.
You have his name? I don't know his name.
How would you describe him?
Tall, dark skinned, about 6'1", 6'2", or about 180, something like that. I know he has a black hoodie on when he pulled out the pistol. They both had white shirts, I think.
Archie did a good job. He gives us everything about the suspect except the name.
It's probably an image that's burned into his mind. He saw that individual shoot at him, and that individual killed his cousin.
While Schilling and White continue their interview, Detective John Brown speaks with the other witness, Archie's friend.
He called and he asked me.
He says earlier that day, he got a call from the surviving victim.
He said, do you want to go over there and confront the dude? Anyway, we gets over there. I seen black dude with the black hoodie. When he came around the corner, he said, what's up? And he just came out with a gun. He shooting everywhere, pop, pop.
So, this black guy in the hoodie, could you see anything of his face?
I don't know him, but I could probably point him out, though.
Was he by himself?
I seen two. The other one was behind him. He was in a white shirt and black shorts. He was bald-headed, but
I felt the information was credible. It was consistent with what Archie had said.
They just got shot at, and their friends just got shot and killed. So they really have a stake in telling us the truth.
So we just need to get a name.
2 hours in.
Yeah, so I knock on the apartment downstairs, and he was in there.
So while Detective Brown and I are interviewing downtown, Detective Ritter made contact with the downstairs neighbors that were the suspects in the previous assault on Archie. One of those individuals matched the physical description Archie and his friend had given as being at the murder scene and being associated with the suspect.
The man Ritter brought to headquarters is the stepson of Archie's neighbor.
As I'm leaving, someone asks me for a business card. They say the person that was probably with this guy is Marquise Johnson.
As fate would have it, a individual that didn't really want to be involved in the investigation gave Detective Ritter a name.
26-year-old Marquise Johnson attended Memorial High School in Tulsa. He has prior convictions for drug possession and robbery.
I'm thinking that's probably going to be your shooter.
Showing to the left and coming around. We come from a pretty large, close-knit family. My mother had 6 children. I'm the baby. Ruby was the oldest, which is Shaman's mother.
Heavenly Father, we come to you, thank you for letting us be together.
My sister was on dialysis during the time we found out that her son was murdered. So we all go out to the house, and just to have to give her that bad news that her baby is gone, it broke my heart.
Let us enjoy the food we're about to receive and thank the ones that have prepared it. Hallelujah and amen.
Amen. This really happened to a good-hearted person.
Big bro, little bro. Big bro, little bro winning.
He was family-oriented. He left behind a 1 and 2-year-old baby at the time.
I remember my little brother as a good father taken too soon. The main thing he wanted was kids of his own. And then he finally had his 2, and he loses his life. I know he just got robbed out of what he really wanted to do the most, man.
Tell him how you felt about your dad. You was talking in the house.
I said that I miss him, and if he was still here, I would do anything to make him proud and happy.
You lose a loved one to gun violence, you take a lot of lives with 1 bullet.
And it just caused so much pain. So much pain.
We need to put together a photo lineup with him in it and show your witnesses.
2 hours into the investigation.
Marquise's history, although he had prior run-ins with the police, there wasn't anything there that made me think, oh, he's a born killer. We need that one affirmative, this is the guy, before we can get a warrant out for them and track them down wherever they may be.
Schilling shows Shymon's cousin, Archie, a photo lineup.
All right, why don't you look through those? See him?
Right there. That's him.
That's the shooter?
Yes.
He gets to Marquise's picture and that's the guy, that's him. There's no doubt in his mind.
Guarantee. He killed my cousin.
That gives me a lot of faith in his identification.
You want me to show you this other guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna show you some pictures. Flip through those and tell me what you think.
Shoot.
2 for 2. They both picked up Marquise Johnson.
I feel really good at that point. We had enough for probable cause to arrest Marquise for murder and for shooting with intent to kill. Now we have to find him.
So the guy with Marquise, he's gonna know where Marquise is at. Hopefully.
Detectives turn to the man Ritter picked up at the apartment complex.
Doing well.
The neighbor's stepson, who is also Marquise's friend.
He's an eyewitness to the events. Whether he's involved in them or he's just a third-party witness, he can give me some critical information, so I really wanted to talk to him.
So there's some drama happening outside your apartment last night.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Okay. Well, that's if we ask you the questions, you can answer them, and then we can be done.
Do you want to talk to us?
I don't know what's going on, so I'm really confused.
Well, no, stop for a second. People have already said, this right here, he was there. I'm not saying you were there. He's not saying you're there. There's other people that says yo ass was there.
You don't see much of a reaction from Detective Brown very often, but I think he was just a little bit irritated the fact that this guy knew and wasn't coming off of it.
Nobody says you did anything other than to be there, okay? That's an issue that you are going to have to overcome.
I would like a lawyer for that.
It's fine.
He didn't want to talk to us, didn't want to be involved, and pretty much ended before it started.
Detectives booked the neighbor's stepson on outstanding traffic warrants.
I wasn't expecting that the friend would really want to talk to me, but based on Archie identifying Marquise as a suspect, our fugitive warrants unit can go looking for him.
We're up to do some surveillance or maybe run some tag. All right. We'll let you know. We're on 10F.
They'll find every place that person might stay, lay their head.
Corporal Matt Hart and the Fugitive Warrant Squad head to a possible address for Marquise Johnson.
It's North Tulsa. We'll just sit on it for a little bit and see what we see. Ideally, we see a car leave and we follow it. It's a cat and mouse game. The house looks pretty dark. There's no cars in the driveway.
7 hours into the investigation.
That's all I got. No lunch.
Marquise was not found.
There's nothing that says in this playbook that Marquise Johnson has to stay in this town. And we believe that he did. I was a little surprised that Marquise was able to get out because we were on him pretty quick. I think what this tells us is he knew that he shot and killed somebody in broad daylight, and if he wanted to stay free, he had to get out of here.
I think Marquise put forth quite a bit of effort to avoid being followed. So we went to the media.
An accused killer on the run. Right now, Tulsa police say they fear if he's not caught, he could strike again.
Police released this poster of 26-year-old Marquise Johnson, who they're calling a person of interest in Wednesday's double shooting.
He just shot a bunch of rounds at a bunch of people.
If he would do that, then I think he's a danger to anybody around him.
If you know where he's at, police are asking you to give them a call.
As the first 48 runs out.
Different people have called, thought they saw him different times here in Tulsa, but none panned out.
Marquise is still nowhere to be found.
We've put him into National Computer. We've put his picture on tip sheets. We've done everything we can do to alert authorities that he's wanted.
While the search for Marquise continues, Schilling visits the surviving victim in the hospital.
It was about 5 or 6 days after the shooting, and he was in stable condition, able to talk.
I wasn't there the night before, but my cousin called me the next day.
He tells Schilling he learned about the attack on Archie the night before the shooting.
So, a few hours later, I ended up going out there. Well, we kind of seen two of them. It was a tall, dark one, and it was about the shorter one with dreads.
He says they confronted two of the men who had jumped Archie.
They started to run. They disappeared.
But he says they ran into the men again later that day.
I started confronting the dude.
He didn't seem to be holding back. Seemed cooperative.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I looked back at the guns already pointed at me, he just started shooting.
Overarching, it was consistent with what both Archie and his friend had already told us. And even though I had gotten Marquise identified, I still felt like I ought to show him a lineup.
Had you ever seen that guy before?
The only time I seen him was that time they ran. The second time when he shot me. And then the third time he was on the news.
I don't want you to pick the guy you saw on the news. I want you to pick out the guy that you saw that day.
That's him. That's the guy right there.
He identified Marquise out of it. And, what motivation would he have to misidentify somebody? If you're looking for justice, you want the right person, not just any person.
No, so easy. I understand it. His brothers. I don't know what to tell them.
I don't know what to tell.
At this point in my investigation, I talked to all the eyewitnesses that I'm aware of. So we just need to find Marquise.
But 9 days in, Schilling learns about a witness who was hesitant to speak with police the day of the shooting.
We had a 911 caller that had given a suspect description that was different than Marquise.
We have to investigate that. Otherwise, the defense attorney is going to say, you didn't do your due diligence. And what if they're right?
So Detective Brown and I went and did a follow-up with that witness so we could see what information they had.
So you're on the third floor balcony. So what did you see happen?
The guy that did the shooting was standing out like in his breezeway area, and 3 guys were kind of walking up on him, and they were like being real like aggressively verbally, like, you know, arguing. I don't know if he thought maybe they were all going to jump him or what, but he just started shooting.
The witness tells Schilling the shooter is a man they've seen around the apartment complex.
And you're positive that you saw him shoot?
Yes.
The other individual that the witness is claiming did the shooting was someone that we've had contact with, we're familiar with.
He's one of the bigger drug dealers in that complex. He had been named as a shooter and other things, so it was credible.
Schilling presents a photo of the man the witness claims is the shooter.
Do you recognize that picture?
No, I'll be honest. I wouldn't like face outside, no inside. So I couldn't give you it. He looks familiar. I've seen him out there a lot. Mm-hmm. But I can't definitively say, yeah, that's him. I saw the side of his face mostly.
They say that's the person that shot. But then when shown a photo of that same person, uncertain if that's the person or not.
You're into that guy?
Schilling shows the balcony witness pictures of Marquise and the neighbor's stepson.
Did you see him that day?
No. I don't recognize him from out there at all.
No, that day. Did you see that guy out there that day?
During all that? No. The guy Marquise that y'all think did the shooting is not the shooter.
With the balcony witness saying, you don't have the right person, it's someone else. There's a level of insistence that's like, okay, this is pretty believable, but how can that be? How can everything else point to Marquise? And the other individual that the witness is claiming did the shooting, and police had made contact with him, talked to him, searched him. His physical description didn't match the initial physical description. There was no evidence to indicate he had anything to do with this investigation.
Even after we're convinced that we've got the right guy, what if we're not? So we keep investigating.
As Schilling digs further to try to locate Marquise, he makes another discovery.
I did a couple of search warrants for his social media account, and they had been active up until the date of the murder, and then after they went silent. It's just reaffirming my belief that he is the person we're looking for, just the discipline to try to stay unfound.
As months pass without an arrest, the situation only gets worse for Shaimon's family.
9 months later, I went to the hospital to see my sister, and she said, I don't want to do this anymore. Tired of hurting. I miss my son. She asked me to make sure that I get justice for Shaimon, and I promised her that I would do that. And I think a week later, my sister passed away.
After 2 years of searching for their suspect.
What you got?
2016 case of mine, Marquise Johnson.
Yeah.
He got arrested.
Marquise finally got arrested up in Wichita, Kansas.
He got pulled over, lied about who he was. They were suspicious about it and arrested him for some traffic violations, fingerprinted him, and ended up finally finding him as a wanted person out of Tulsa. And he said he had nothing to say.
Marquise Johnson is turned over to Tulsa authorities and charged with first-degree murder.
I ran over to the baby mother's house at 10 o'clock at night and I said, I got some good news. They actually caught the guy that murdered their dad.
There was no doubt in my mind that he was the one who had pulled the trigger that day. We were going to take it to trial, see if we could get it proven guilty.
But there's not going to be much DNA. There's not going to be the fingerprints. It will be the eyewitnesses pointing in the courtroom at Marquise saying that is the man I saw shoot. And this is 3 years later now. The prosecutor's got to keep everybody on board.
Getting to a guilty was going to require 3 men. Archie and the 2 fellas he was with were going to be pretty critical to the whole prosecution. Those are the 3 witnesses who made ID. And they needed not only to be available, they needed to be willing.
And getting the 3 men on board isn't the only concern.
None of them had clean hands. All 3 of them have been arrested before. All 3 of them have had interactions with law enforcement.
Our job is to take a look at the witness and see if there's a credibility, reliability, or bias issue. Marquise was saying he didn't do this. He was vehement about it. He wanted to go to trial. Me as a defense attorney, I've had enough clients who will sit there and go, I didn't do it. I'm not guilty. I'm innocent. And yet Marquise was saying it in a way that honestly had me really seriously looking at all the facts from his perspective with a level of intensity. He wasn't there by his admission. And so when we started looking at the different statements that individuals had made to police, a lot didn't line up.
The defense's challenge is not to get 12 people unanimously to say not guilty. Sometimes it's simply just to get one juror to have some reasonable doubt.
Archie had one version of it. Another witness had another version of it entirely. When you start having those inconsistencies, that makes me start looking into the credibility and reliability of those witnesses.
There's no question something bad happened that day. No question that Shimon was murdered. The simple question was, can we prove to a jury that Marquise Johnson was the shooter? I was excited about the trial because not only had we found Archie and the other guys he was with that day, they were willing to testify.
4.5 years after Shimon's murder, the trial begins.
I was kind of nervous, but I went to the trial because I promised my sister I would get justice for her son.
On the second day of trial, the prosecutor calls Archie to the stand.
Anytime you've got somebody testifying who has a little bit of a criminal past, that information is going to get in front of the jury. I've always found it's better to get that information out front and not let the defense have an aha moment. I hoped that they would be able to see past his convictions and focus on his testimony. He took the stand and told essentially the same story from 5 years earlier.
Put out the gun and start pow, 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 pow.
Archie did a pretty good job of explaining what had happened. He had something bad happen to him the night before. He called 911. The next day, something bad happens. He calls 911 again. He hangs around. He talks to the detectives. He does the interview.
I know he has a black hoodie on when he pulled out the pistol.
During his testimony, Archie points out Marquise Johnson as the shooter. But on cross, the defense grills him on inconsistencies in his statements.
Archie Doby tends to play hide the ball. He's not going to be straightforward. I challenged Archie on how many people got out of the vehicle. What he testified on direct and what he was trying to testify with me didn't match his police report. He started making excuses.
Archie was getting pretty frustrated. Brian Boheim was challenging him on things he remembered and where he was and who he was with at various points in time. I think for all of us, it's hard if you're recalling something or a story you told 5 years ago to tell it exactly the same way 5 years later.
We got to a point where he started talking about what allegedly my client was wearing.
They went to the apartments. Allegedly, they saw my client, and Archie described him as having different clothes on and running away.
Archie claimed that my client was wearing a T-shirt, a white T-shirt. But he had said on direct he was wearing a hoodie later when the shooting occurred. That never sat right with me. To me, his testimony wasn't reliable and potentially wasn't credible.
Kind of made me upset the way they was coming at Archie, but I'm glad he didn't give up. He kept going and he got through it.
The state calls the two other eyewitnesses, the surviving victim and Archie's friend.
They all did fantastic. They told basically the same story they had told 5 years earlier.
The other two witnesses each had their own problems. One of them told an entirely different story of where they went and how they got there.
So the original incident with Archie Doby's girlfriend happened here. Easy Pawn was one of the places that they picked up one of the individuals. One witness was very clear they went to Quick Trip, while another witness said they were at a smaller store. And so the back and forth and the cross between, all these different locations made it very confusing for the jury.
There's three different guys who saw things from three different perspectives. One was in a car, two were out of the car, one got shot, one didn't. And they all three pointed at Marquise Johnson and said, that's the shooter.
But the defense flags a key detail in the testimony of Archie's friend.
His identification was at issue.
There was a moment where I looked at him and said, sir, is the person that you saw doing the shooting in the courtroom? He started looking around,
looked right at my client, and then looked back and started staring at one of the jurors.
He looked down the line of the jury, and he looked back in the gallery, and he looked around.
Mr. Gray, a well-trained litigator, was able to refocus the witness. And at that point, the witness then pointed at my client and said, that's him.
I think he probably had some bad eyesight, but I think he also understood there was some gravity to that moment. There's consequences if you say that's the guy who killed somebody. And so I think he was taking his task seriously and wasn't just phoning it in.
As the prosecution rests,
felt good about our case. I felt confident that Archie and his friends had put in front of the jury an incredibly compelling account that was supported by the physical evidence that Crime Scene and others had done and supported by the work of the medical examiner.
The defense calls their only witness to the stand.
We called the balcony witness. In their police interview, they were very clear that Marquise was not the shooter. When someone doesn't have any bias or any dog in that fight, if you will, it should make them a much more reliable and credible witness. I asked them directly, was Marquise the shooter? And the answer was no. Unequivocally, no.
The balcony witness said they were able to see full on the shooter's face. I was sitting there thinking, that's not what she said 5 years ago.
I can't definitively say, yeah, that's him. I saw the side of his face mostly.
Right after the homicide, the witness told detectives that they didn't get a very good look at the shooter's face.
Can you recognize that picture? Now, I'll be honest, I wouldn't face, side, mostly inside. So I couldn't give you a, it looks familiar, I've seen him out there a lot, but I can't definitively say, yeah, that's him.
If you listen carefully, there's a hesitation.
When Sergeant Schilling showed that person that photo of the individual they said did the shooting, they sort of shied away from the person.
That tells me that there's something more going on.
Did you see that guy out there that day?
During all that, no. Let me tell you, the guy Marquise that y'all think did the shooting, he is not the shooter.
The witness is being shown Marquise's photo, and there's no hesitation. Absolutely not.
Ultimately, this case was going to be a question of who the jury believed. If they introduce some doubt in at least one juror's mind, and it blows the whole case up, that's nightmare scenario. The balcony witness was never able to say conclusively, that's the person I saw doing the shooting.
And on cross-examination, the prosecutor draws attention to another detail in their testimony.
They said not only did they see some of the initial shots, but that right at the end, the shooter went and stood over Shymon's body and then continued to pour round after round after round into Shymon. Their story just got more exciting and more graphic and more awful.
Helpful people. They want to answer the question, and they are going to try to communicate it in a way that they believe is going to be believed. It's not an attempt to be dishonest. It's an attempt to try to emphasize that they know what they saw.
Just to make a point, asked witness about how far away they thought they were from the shooter, and they said, 20 or 25 feet. Prosecution has the opportunity to call a rebuttal witness, and I needed to pretty conclusively slam the door on what the balcony witness had to say.
The state calls Sergeant Schilling to the stand.
They said that the shooter had walked up on Shymon and shot him while he's on the ground. That's pretty compelling testimony. The unfortunate part is there's nothing to corroborate that. So I explained to the jury there are no shell casings in the vicinity where Shymon went down to the ground. There are no projectiles into the ground, and there's no injuries on him that are consistent with close proximity gunshot.
And Schilling states there's another inaccuracy in the witness's claims.
I'd actually had the opportunity to measure the distance from the third-story balcony towards the area the shell casings were located, and it's 85 to 100 feet. So 3 to 4 times the distance they're describing.
Everybody can do simple math, and the jury, I think, pretty quickly knew that there was a large difference between the witness's estimation, 20, 25 feet, and what Corporal Schilling had measured of 85 to 100 feet.
Listening to this witness was important. I know victims can be wrong in their identification, but when I see inconsistency after inconsistency, I articulate that to a jury, because jury trial is not beyond any doubt. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. And what this witness is describing is unreasonable.
I really think they were trying to provide an honest account. I think they were just overeager and maybe kind of their mouth started writing checks that they couldn't cash.
Potentially, the memory of this person wasn't spot on the side details, but that had nothing to do with the identification of the shooter. That person was just trying to do the right thing and came forward.
The jury leaves to deliberate.
I was nervous because we was all sitting there, and I was just like, I wonder how this finna go, you know.
6 hours later.
The jury found Marquise Johnson guilty of murder in the first degree. I think the jury's verdict was fair. I think it reflected their thoughts on the idea that somebody would do something like this in broad daylight in an apartment complex where families and children live.
It can't bring back our loved one, but I think it made us closer. And I try to remember the good times.
We're going to do a balloon release in honor of Shymon. If everybody can grab a balloon.
Back in 2016, before this happened, Shymon came to me. He said, I ain't never had a birthday party. I want you to throw me a birthday party. And I said, okay, I got you. Then this happened.
Oh, Donna, would you lead us in prayer real quick?
Okay, we're here in memory of Shymon Jones. He meant a lot to everyone here.
Everything that he wanted is what I'm celebrating for today. Everyone to come together as a family. We love on one another, eat some good food, and play a little dominoes. That's what he loved.
We thank you, Heavenly Father, for this day. We thank you, Father, for family.
I just want the world to know that Shymon was a good person.
On the count of 3, we're going to let the balloons go up. Go ahead and count us down, Shamar. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
And he have 2 beautiful children that he left behind.
And that's the sad part. They didn't get a chance to really grow up and get that father figure that he wanted to give them. I'm going to miss his positive energy and his laugh.
He's gone, but he's never forgotten.
John Brown was one of the coolest guys you'd ever work with. He was one of the friendliest guys you'd ever work with.
He was a good friend of mine. We were partners for the first 6 years that I was in homicide. I really cut my teeth learning from him.
If I ever had to pick anybody to go find a killer with, it would be him. I kept him with me forever. Undercover, burglary, patrol, robbery, wherever I went.
He tells it with heart and soul.
Just that boisterous, loud, friendly, kind. He's just a wonderful human being. He's going to be really, really missed.
He's a good friend. Great cop, but even a better friend.